Hello, beautiful people. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Honest Am here, the creator and writer of the Honest Sis newsletter, a bi-weekly newsletter geared towards millennials who are truly trying to get their shit together. And I am here for another daily motivational video where we use the tarot to become the alchemist of our lives. A little bit about me. I do not just use the tarot. I use God and cusses in the same sentence. I may mispronounce some things, but if it does not stop Charlamagne the God, it would not stop me. So, angel number 22. So I thought I was about to get on here and just run through some videos, but guess what? My battery is not ready. I am not prepared. And so I'm just going to do a quick little reading and just see what happens. Dear God, guardian angels, and ancestors, we come to you as humbly as we know how. We say thank you. Thank you for waking us up this morning. Thank you for allowing us to be in our right mind. My God, I ask whatever you deem worthy for us to hear at this time, please deliver these messages to me through I am my prayer. Ashe. I may go live on YouTube and just see what happens. Who knows? All right, 2 cards, please. All right, we got 2 cards. The 2 cards that came up is simplicity and honesty, angel number 111. And the message that I get right away is that there is simplicity in being honest. There's simplicity in doing things that are in alignment with you. We have this angel looking in the mirror, and I feel like what God is saying is that a lot of times the double-mindedness, the confusion comes in when we're not being true to ourselves. But if we're being honest about what we want out of life, who we believe that we are, then things will be a lot more simple for us. But don't take my word for it. I'm actually going to go to the tarot and just get some more information. All right, dear God, angels, and ancestors, what is this message of simplicity and honesty mean? What are you trying to get us to understand? Why is it important for us to be honest? All right, we have 1 card fly out. Okay, what's the card for honesty? Why is it so important for us to be honest? Why is being honest a simple way of life? All right. And then we have 1 more card fly out. All right, perfect. Underneath the deck, what came out is the 10 of Wands, angel number 227. The 10 of Wands, as you can see, is this young lady. She is carrying a heavy load. As we know, the 10 of Wands mean that she went from the 1 Wands all the way to the 2, which means she grabbed that idea from the clouds and she grounded it down to make it a reality. As you can see, she's kind of headed to a destination, and it's like she probably just wants to drop her load. She just wants to chill. But what this message is saying to me is that if she just keep going, she'll be able to get to where she is going, and she can drop that load with ease. And so I feel like the message for you guys is to just keep going, keep trusting yourself, keep your head down, and keep doing the work, because your cycle is almost done. Angel number 311. For this message of simplicity, what came out is the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups is all about our emotions. As we see, there is a young lady sitting out of water. A young lady sitting at the edge of the water. We have these waves coming up as she's looking at the cups. Cups represents our heart's desires. With the water here, where I feel like she's in this place of deep contemplation about what's really true to her. With these waves rushing, I feel like that there's a lot of emotions that are coming up as she's thinking about her heart's desires. And I feel that these emotions and these waves of emotions can get her very confused and maybe even lose track on her desire and what she's looking for. But what God is saying is that when you are in a, an emotional state, or where there's just a lot of things going on, God is saying the simplest approach is to just focus on the things you love. Like, allow all the other hoopla to go away and just focus in on what you love. If you can do that, then you'll be able to go with the waves of life. I was recently listening to the Hollywood Reporter. They had a speakers roundtable with Key, the guy from Everything Everywhere All at Once, as well as Jeremy. I want to say right, but that may not be right. But anyways, Jeremy, he was the Black actor that was in Hollywood. And he recently got nominated for 2 Tonys in a year. He's starting to make noise for this new film that he's in. And so people are pretty much saying like this guy's the future, right? They're saying he's that deal, right? And so Jeremy was saying that he was recently talking to his therapist about how, his highs in life are so, so high, but his lows are also very, very low. And he was saying, like, how can I get to this place where I'm not, constantly going with the highs and the lows of life? And what his therapist was saying is that if you're not going with the highs and the lows of life, you're flatlining, which means that you're dead, which means that you're not alive. And sometimes we get very, very sometimes we get very frustrated and very mad that we're human and that we have these things called emotions. But the truth is, our emotions is just telling us what we truly desires. Our emotions is telling us the things that we don't even necessarily want to be honest with ourselves about. And so what God is saying is that instead of getting mad that you have emotions, or instead of getting mad that you can be an emotional person, what God is saying is take a more simple approach and look at your emotions as simply giving you information about what is true for you, about what's those desires that you want deep down. And so if you could just simply look at your emotions as, oh, this is just, me learning something new or me getting information from my body, then you won't get so caught up in the waves of life, because that's just how life goes. You're going to have some highs and you're going to have some lows, okay? With this message of honesty, what came out is the Knight of Swords. And what we see with the Knight of Swords is this person rushing head in towards a decision. And I feel like for some reason with this message of honesty and this energy of rushing in with the swords, I feel like what God is saying is that when you can look at your emotions and be able to go with the waves of your emotions, that is how you be able to become the alchemist of your life. A lot of us, we don't want to have our emotions, or we get mad that we're emotional, but emotions, again, is energy. Emotions is our body giving us information. And also our emotions are there to help guide us and to help navigate us. So if we could simply look at our emotions as this, this intuitive hit, or as just, our superpower, then we will be able to move through those things much more quicker. We won't get so caught up in the lows of life. We'll just see like, oh, this is just telling me, like, say for example, back, because I know this, I'm speaking high level, so let's bring this to more practical. And when it comes around Christmas time, I just get this feeling in my heart, like I can look at certain houses, and like 2 years ago, like I was looking at houses and like fucking crying. And like I could get mad at myself and be like, oh, I don't want to feel this. But I realized what was happening is that my soul and my heart was just telling me I have this really, really deep desire to have family and to have love and to build my own. And to, there was this little part of me that was feeling like, oh, I'm 33, is the time running out for me? And so I could ignore it and act like it's not a reality, or I could just know that that is something that I desire. I feel like a lot of us get in trouble with a lot of us get in trouble with carrying our load and with finishing our race because we're denying what we really want. But what God is saying is that if we could, take our emotions, accept what we want, accept our emotions for whatever they are, we'll be able to easily move on to the next level. We'll be able to rush on through. I also feel like with this message of honesty and the Knight of Swords coming out, just for a few people, because every time I see the Knight of Swords deals a lot with our communication. I do feel like what God is saying is that, a lot of people say things and then, they hurt people's feelings, and it's like, well, I'm just being honest. I'm just being honest. But it's like, if you're not saying something in truth that is going to benefit somebody, if you're just saying an honest thing just to hurt somebody, then that's not helpful for anybody. So I also do feel like what God is saying is that to be mindful with your words, yes, there's okay for you to be honest with people, but make sure that you're being honest and kind at the same time. Honesty without kindness is just an asshole. It's just being rude. So for a couple of you guys, be mindful of that. But all together, I feel like this message is ultimately about somebody that has been on a journey to trying to realize their dreams for a really, really long time. I feel like you are just at the end of your journey. You're just about to wrap up this cycle. And what's happening right now is that all these emotions are rising up. And it probably is making you doubt it, probably making you think that you're never going to get there. But what God is saying, if you just focus on the things you love, you focus on the completion, you focus on the goal and where you're headed, you be honest with yourself of being like, okay, yeah, this is my reality. I may not have X, Y, and Z, but that doesn't mean that's going to be it always. Then you'll be able to easily move out of this period of your life. So this message is really for people who are frustrated on the creative journey. All right, don't take my word for it. Let's go get a tool for this. God, clarify this tool of the Ten of Wands, the Queen of Cups, and the Knight of Swords. What is this message of simplicity and honesty all about? What are you trying to get us to understand about trusting our emotions and not getting caught up in our emotions, or not allowing our emotions to stop us from finishing the prize? Also, when I was explaining what this message was about, I was thinking about that conversation. I would definitely make sure that I'll link it down below. But in the Hollywood Reporter, where all of the actors, every person in that table, they had this role, they got really excited about it, and then they'll have this feeling overwhelm them that, oh, this couldn't possibly happen, oh, this is too good to be true. And I think what I want you to realize is that everybody is doing shit scared. This is the thing. Just because you're scared, that's not an indicator that this isn't for you. Our brain, we have to realize that our brain, our mind is nothing but Google on steroids. And so when you decide that you're going to step out of your comfort zone and do something brand new, the first thing that your mind is going to do is just like when we were those apes in the cave. Danger, danger, ancient number 1135. You're doing something brand new. Your brain doesn't have anything to compare the circumstance with. And so it automatically gives you all of this fear, automatically gives you all of this anxiety. And so your job is to override it. Your job is to rush forward and to do it anyway. Every person that was at that table had a moment of doubt, but they did not allow that moment to keep them back, but they rush through it anyway. And honestly, that is the message. That's the difference between you and the people that you love. They are scared and they push themselves through anyway. You have to have that courage, okay? You have to believe in yourself. And that's not something that I can give to you. That's not something that you can look on these YouTube videos and give to you. That's only something you can give to yourself, okay? All right, y'all. Last final message, God. Give us a tool to clarify this, to wrap this on up. This Ten of Wands, Queen of Cups with this Knight of Cups. Simplicity and honesty. Why is it so important to allow ourselves to go through our emotions without allowing our emotions to stop us right when we're at the finish line? Wow. So 3 cards actually came out. The law of attraction responds to my vibration. This is what we're going to focus on. I can see my world through the eyes of source. This is just letting you know that by choosing to feel better thoughts and by speaking more of what you do want and less of what you do not want, you'll be able to tune your vibrational frequency to a level you'll be able to train your vibrational frequency to get the things you want. And angel number 1313 in 2023, I want us to I only want us to look at this world as in vibration. I want you to look at every single thing as a vibration. I want you to ask yourself, when you don't have something in your life, I don't want you to figure out, I want you to be like, oh, why God isn't giving this? I want you to ask yourself, what can I do for myself? How can I increase my vibration to bring that thing vibrationally to me? I want us to realize that this world is nothing but a mirror. And this is the problem with us. The problem is that we're looking at this world and we're looking at the world as though it is set in stone. We're looking at this world as though everything is going to be what it's going to be. And that's not the case. If we start looking at the world through the eyes of source, we will realize that this world is nothing but our mirror, and our true power comes in doing the internal work and demanding that the universe change the world to match what we see inside. So the thing is, you don't have to worry about the Kardashians Kardashians. You don't have to worry about white men. Nobody can stop your blessings but you. This is what I want us to get in our mind in 2023. Nobody is limiting. Nobody is blocking you but you. And so that's why this year we're going to do vibrational work. That's why this year we are going to do the mental work to reprogram ourselves to believe that we are the generators, that we are the creators of our reality. And so we're going to start by doing baby steps. And the baby steps is when we have those moments of doubt, we're going to override them because we know that our mind is nothing but a computer. And the only reason that our mind is coming up with that scenario of doubt is because it has not done it before. But as us looking at the world through the eyes of source, we're going to override that and we're going to keep pushing towards our dreams. Okay. The next thing that came out is, what do I want and why do I want it? Again, going back. Matter of fact, I am going to read all three of these cards. Going back, what do I want and why do I want it? What did I tell you about us being at this shore and that these emotions are rushing up and you want to deny them? But I'm going to tell you right here, there is no being the alchemist. There's no being a magician. There's no being a manifestor. There's none of that shit happening if you do not listen to your emotions. Our emotions, our part is what going to manifest things. So if you cut yourself off from your emotions, you are cutting yourself off from your manifestation powers. And that is why we have zombies in the world. That is why we have energy leaks in the world, because these are people who are afraid of their emotions. And so they choose to cut it off and to leech off of other people instead. You don't want to be that person, right? We want to be the alchemist of our life, right? In order to be the alchemist of our life, we have to sync with our emotions. When you acknowledge what you do not want and then ask yourself what it is that you do want, you begin a gradual shift into telling yourself a new story, into a much improved point of attraction. You get the essence of what you think about. Remember what I was saying before about our vibration, about you are only limited in your mind. You get what you think about, whether you want it or not, because the law of attraction is inherently consistent. Therefore, you are never only telling the story of how it is now, and you are also telling the story of future experiences of what you are creating. And so that's why God is saying, don't get caught up in your emotions. Don't get caught up in the negative things. That is just the wave of life. That is just your mind. And matter of fact, I want you to even look at it as if your mind, as if the universe is just asking you, do you really want what you say you want? As a matter of fact, sometimes, you gotta what I really feel like we have to dig within ourselves when these emotions come up and be like, well, why is that coming up? Well, why am I jealous about that? Like I told y'all, for so long, I would feel so triggered every time I seen Lizzo, and I had to really deal with that, because I sat here and I watched her, whatever to do on Netflix. I want to say David Letterman, but I sat here and watched her special, and she talked about how people just hate on her just because of her existence, just because she's a fat girl who chooses to love herself. And that really made me check myself, like, yo, like, what the fuck is your problem with Lizzo? You need to check your triggers. And I realized it's because I had a limiting belief within myself that said that because I was fat, because I was black, because of all of these things, that I couldn't reach my dreams. And so me seeing Lizzo in her full self, me seeing Lizzo be Lizzo, was a direct contradiction to the belief that I had within myself. And so every time I would see her, she would trigger it. And so I had to be like, what the fuck is it? And that's what it is. And then I'm going to take you to another thing. I was watching Married to Medicine, and I found myself getting really fucking triggered about Robin. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, why am I so fucking triggered by Robin? Like, I'm like, I hate her. I don't want her on the show. She acts like a little child whenever she gets around Juan. And guess what? I went to go look up her birthday because I was like, what is her sign? She's a fucking Aries. I'm so triggered by her because I see certain characteristics of myself in her, and it triggers me. And so this is why I want you to start. This is how we change from looking at the world as fact, and we start looking at the world as mirrors. This is how we move from being a victim to life, from becoming an alchemist of our life. By when we look at triggers, or when we have our emotions come up, we ask ourselves what it is I want and why do I want it. We question our emotions. That's how you know you are growing, when you go from being ruled by your emotions to when you started to inquire and think about your emotions. When you really start to be like, well, why am I feeling this way? That's how you know you're starting to make that shift. I do want to read this really, really quick. By choosing better feeling thoughts, by speaking more of what you do want and less of what you do not want, you would generally tune yourself into the vibrational frequency of your broader perspective. To see the eyes through the eyes of source is truly the most spectacular viewpoint. From that vantage point, you are in alignment with and therefore in the process of attracting only what you would consider the very best. And this is what we have to understand about it's not being magic. It's not magic. It's just that you're learning how to tune yourself into the things you want. And this is my thing. It's a practice. And you have to do this every single day. You have to make the baby steps, and then eventually it'll become it'll become more natural to you. This whole message, wrapping it up, is about the law of attraction responding to your vibration. A belief is nothing more than a kind of pattern of thought. And you have the ability, even if you try a little bit, to begin a new pattern, to tell a new story, to achieve a different vibration, to change your point of attraction. The law of attraction is responding to your vibration. And you can easily change your vibrational point of attraction by visualizing the lifestyle you desire and holding your attention upon those images until you feel those relief, which will indicate that a true vibrational shift has occurred. And so this is what God is telling us. All of us, essentially, as human beings, we're in this state. We're all in this state where we have all of these desires, and where we've been working very, very hard to, realize a dream. And the only difference between us and the people actually making it is the belief. And what God is telling us today is that even if you do have those emotions of, oh, I don't have it, or, oh, I'm not good enough, instead of staying stuck in that, God is saying, see the honest truth through that. See the honesty is that you know that God, and this is what I want you to start doing when you have those negative thoughts come up. Angel number 2021. Who is God? You know that God only wants the best of you. You know that you have been you are a representative of God, a representation of God. You know that you've had examples of your life of physical manifestations appearing in your life because of your desires. You know that this stuff is real because you see examples of it in the everyday life. And so why can't you believe that things that are happening to other people can also happen to you? And so that's how you begin to gently turn that thing. And that's why I watch so many interviews. That's why I read stories. That's why I listen to certain type of power. I listen to a lot of interview podcasts because I am inspired by human beings. It inspires me to see another person make it. When I heard Key's story of that, he's been out of the industry for 25 years. 25 years. He had to put this dream down, set it aside, and did something else. But there was something inside of him. There was something inside of him that would not allow him to let that dream go. And because he decided to say, well, maybe this isn't it for me. Because he decided to be inspired by the success of Crazy Rich Asians and to go revisit his dream, now he's able to live in his dream after 25 years. And if you're not inspired by that, I don't know, how can you not be inspired by that? It's inspired. It lets you know that it's never too late. It's never too late to realize your thing. The same thing with Michelle. She's been in this industry for over 40 years and she just started getting her big break 5 years ago. And so what God is trying to let you know is that the difference between you and all of those other people is if you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to not give up, if you're willing to grit your teeth and push a little bit further. And if you are, the world will completely open up to you and you will move forward towards those things that you truly desire in life. Okay? All right, y'all. That is all the messages I have for you. I'm actually going to go ahead and end this message with a cute little work your light. Really, really quickly, God clarified this message: the Ten of Wands, the Queen of Cups, the Knight of Swords, honesty and simplicity. Why is it so important to listen to our emotions? Why is it so important to see the world through your eyes, God? And why is it so important for us to focus on our vibration and not the reflection of the world. Yes, yes, yes. Underneath this, whatever you have been thinking about, this message has been nothing but an encouragement to work towards your dreams. I don't care how big it is. Also, I don't care how little it is. I also feel like there's a lot of people who want to do things like you want to be a waitress, you want to have your own restaurant, you want to have your own lawn service, or you want to, clean houses or whatever. And somebody has shamed you and made you feel like that's not a noble career. Fuck that. Do whatever your heart's desire. I don't care how small, and I don't care how large it is. The message that we're going to focus on is the Pleiades double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. You guys already know, gang gang. These my peoples. This is my tribe. And this is going to be our final mission, our final lesson. Angel number 118. The Pleiadians are a group of star beings dedicated to raising the vibration of the planet and sharing new consciousness through creations and technology. They have been incarnating on Earth since near the beginning of humanity. You are a soul who has a double mission, to grow at a soul level and to raise the vibration of the planet. If you have been called to write, speak, or channel, this is your sign to keep doing it. Your work is divinely guided. Of all the soul, Pleiadians are the chattiest, so perhaps you have already started channeling some of this work into the third dimension. Thank you for doing your part in the great plan. Your presence and unique light is needed. I call upon the Pleiadian consciousness of the highest realm and the highest good of humanity to work through me. Let me be a channel of only the purest light of the essence of Source. Let me channel in a way that also serve me. I call upon the Pleiadian consciousness of the highest realm and the highest good of humanity to work through me. Let me be a channel of only the purest of light of the essence of Source. Let me channel in a way that also serves me. I call upon the Pleiadian consciousness of the highest realms and the highest good of humanity to work through me. Let me be a channel of only the purest light of the essence of Source. Let me channel in a way that also serves me. Ashe. I truly hope that this message was encouraging to you. No matter what you are doing, no matter how big or small your dream is, all I ask you to do is to work towards it, because you have no idea who is waiting for you. All right, y'all. If you made it to the end of this message, please give me a thumbs up. If you made it to the end of this message, you are not subscribed. What are you waiting for? Until we meet again, dream those dreams. Never let the internet rush you, and never ever let someone tell you what you cannot do. If you're wanting to work with me or learn anything more about me and Honestly Sis, all of that information can be found in the description box below.